So the idea of Embracing Africa came about when I felt that the Black African community were very much excluded from the wider community than the other Black, i.e. Caribbean community, or even if you include the Asian community. So what needs to be done to help or to develop this community move forward in terms of identifying the social mobility? But we needed a start, and I think Embracing Africa answered a lot of questions around that.
Today we're at the Embracing Africa Music and Food Festival. I'm actually the HR manager for Cultural Mundi, so I was in charge of coordinating the volunteers at this event.
Hey, kids, you can get involved as well.
Coventry is a multicultural city, and a lot of people come to do all sorts of things every weekend, and we had an opportunity to actually display what actually happens in Africa. So the whole of Africa on that day was actually in Coventry, and I was excited to be part of that.
We had only 4 months to do all of this, so initially it was like, wow, we had a bit of time or we don't have a bit of time, was a bit of debate, but we just kept on really cracking on to see how we can get this all done.
We decided to showcase kings and queens from Africa. So we had kings and queens represented from the 28 countries in the festival. We also did a fashion show to showcase the type of clothes that are worn in Africa, because we believe that to educate people about our way of life, they have to see how we present.
Interestingly, I was the only male stylist there. I represented the brand Fabadora, and it was an amazing time that we had.
I was invited to represent one of the Queens of Africa in a big festival parade in the city centre, and so I was a bit nervous. You know, I'm from Coventry, I'm not from Africa, but you know, breaking down barriers is what I was told, and really it did.
I had the pleasure and honour to play my role as the King of Mozambique.
As you can see behind me, there's a stage, and we've got an up-and-coming comedian, Uncle Ed, hosting.
The whole experience, especially for the children who didn't know about Africa, or they just think about animals associated with Africa and they forget about the people in Africa. So it was quite an experience for the young ones as well.
It was all in all very wonderful experience. The dancing and the food, people were flocking to get African food from different parts of the world, of Africa. It was wonderful.
As you can see behind us here, we are focused in the food stalls where we can see some various of African foods that they have made for us today, and people are here to try.
I'll start with red oil. you have to cook all the meat, you know, it's a bit a long process, I know, but if anything good, take time.
We left a lasting mark at City Centre. We took over the place for more than 6 hours. Africa took charge of City Centre, and that is one amazing stuff that I love.
The volunteers that we had all through, from rehearsals to the organizations that helped us, fantastic. Everybody was willing, everybody brought in their own spirit and made this possible. We had a really good time at the festival. People danced, people listened to music, people ate. The crowd watched, the crowd was amazing, the performances were amazing. The young people and the children that were interested and still want to be involved and get involved with their culture and heritage after this project and after the festival, there is more that needs to be done, but so far we are proud of our achievements and we are proud of the Boys in Africa.